we get started because we have an hour, and if last year's any indication, there are lots of questions for our alumni. So I'm just going to briefly let them introduce themselves. They'll say a little bit about who they are, what they did while they were at UVM, what they're doing now, where they are now, and then this is really a session for you to ask whatever questions you want of our alumni. So about their experience at UVM, their experience since, that sort of thing. So I think pretty much open season. You guys open for just about anything, right?
I think so.
Bring it on. Breakfast, whatever. So I'm going to start with Jawan, and then we'll move down the row, and you can each introduce yourself, say your name, say where you're from originally, also maybe, and then where you are now and what you're doing and all that sort of thing. So go ahead, Jawan.
All right, my name is Jawan Swislow. I'm from Cambridge, Massachusetts, where I still live now. And I was in business school here at UVM as well as the Honors College. One of the few and proud. I think there were only 2 business/honors students my year. I also had an economics minor, which I did as well because, the business school, you have to take a lot of econ classes anyway, so it just kind of fits together well. I did my thesis ultimately with, the way it worked was I took a class senior year called Integrated Product Development, and the way that worked was we had to do a project for that class that we kind of did a spin-off into a thesis. So the point of the project was you break into groups and you each work with a company on a new product or new service or something that was being offered, and you work with them to develop the marketing and the strategy and do the market analysis and all of that kind of stuff that goes along with it. So my team worked with DR, which is a local company. They make like farm lawn equipment, like you might see the DR field and brush mower that people are going destroying nature with. Looks like a lot of fun. But anyway, they were working with the engineers at UVM on a new type of environmentally friendly riding mower. I think it was supposed to be battery powered. And so our project through the class was to develop their marketing. Then my thesis spun off of that, and I did a project with a company about kind of designing a strategy that smaller companies could use for international expansion. DR had been thinking about moving to some companies in Europe where they have similar environments to Vermont and New England where they sell a lot of their equipment now. So I developed a kind of generic strategy that companies could use and then applied it and then showed how DR could use it for their needs. And so that was reviewed by, I think it was the CEO of the company and their CFO because, they're a small place so you could get that kind of access. So that was great. And since UVM, I was hired by a company in Newton, Massachusetts called Eagle Investment Systems, as you see on the bio. They make enterprise back office accounting software. So that's for big companies like, a place like JP Morgan is one of our clients, for example. They do a lot of things, but one of them is they have, funds and they manage money. So when they're managing someone's money, they go into our software and say, this person, we bought this many shares of, Apple at this price on this day, and then they put prices in and figure out how much the person has made on that so they can report it back to their clients. So that's fundamentally what the company does. They also do some data management, performance measurement and stuff, and I work as an analyst there, so I analyze some of the new complex financial instruments that are out in the market. I'm sure you've heard about credit default swaps and things like that, mortgage-backed securities that have kind of been tearing down the economy. But that's kind of stuff I work on in my role, and UVM has helped me to get there, so I'm very pleased. It's a great place to work.
So proud of you.
The company's great. I mean, it's like we don't invest in this stuff ourselves. We just have the software that people are going to buy it no matter what. But software company, it's a great place to work. It's a fantastic environment. It is true what you hear. We have a ping pong table, we have a foosball table, we have a Nintendo Wii, stuff like that. But it's a great environment, a lot of autonomy, and I couldn't be happier. So that's it.
All right.
Go ahead.
Okay. I'm Madeline Murphy Hall, and I grew up in Windsor, Vermont, which is about an hour and a half south of here. And I majored in political science at UVM and minored in anthropology, and studied Arabic at Middlebury College, and also spent 6.5 months in Jordan on a Boren scholarship, also studying Arabic. And most of my time at UVM wasn't spent on campus, but it was spent traveling with the UVM debate team, and I had a phenomenal experience with the debate team. We were gone pretty much every weekend to different tournaments, and my sophomore year we started doing a new type of debate where it's international. So I went to Malaysia and Thailand and Ireland and England, and we went all sorts of places, and it was really a phenomenal experience. And my senior year, I wrote my thesis on women's rights in the Middle East, and it was a comparative analysis. And the time that I spent in Jordan really helped me develop my thesis, which I only did in the latter half of my senior year. So it was kind of crammed into one semester, which was difficult but well worth it. And I'm now going to Qatar on Wednesday to teach debate. So it's kind of a conglomeration of both my Arabic skills and my love for debating coming together, and I'm extremely excited. I'm in the process of writing a Fulbright proposal for Kuwait for the year after, so I hope to spend 2 years in the Gulf, and I also couldn't be happier. So I don't know what it'll be like, so I can't quite tell you yet. Although I've been in the Middle East, I haven't spent any time in the Gulf region, but I am ecstatic, and I wish I could have gone a little bit earlier to be there during Ramadan, but maybe I'll be there next year for Ramadan. So.
I'm Laura. I was a double major in political science and French. I did a lot of tutoring while I was here at UVM, and my senior thesis was a semantic pragmatic analysis of George Bush's speeches concerning the war in Iraq, and I correlated that with some public opinion data to see how people reached the conclusions that they reached about the war based on the information that they were given. I'm currently at Georgetown University in Washington, D.C. I'm working on my PhD in theoretical linguistics. My research interests are kind of on the syntax-semantics interface. I got to use my French skills on 2-term papers last semester, and I'm also really interested in children's first language acquisition, which kind of feeds really nicely into the theoretical questions that I'm most interested in, and also it's really fun to play with other people's babies. So I guess like everyone else, I'm doing exactly what I wanted to be doing, and I couldn't be any happier.
My name is Mike Leahy. I grew up in southern New Hampshire, about 10 minutes away from the Massachusetts border. My major when I was here was medical lab science, which is part of the College of Nursing and Health Sciences. Majority of my time spent here, I was on the rescue squad, which took up a good amount of time. When I was there, I became an EMT, and I was also the treasurer and president of it my senior year when I was here, and I was also a tutor. My thesis was on analyzing the likelihood of paramedicine being able to function in Chittenden County, because for the longest time we didn't have paramedicine. I was just looking at how much it would cost and what the difference is between our district and different districts in the state of Vermont that had paramedicine. And right now I'm currently at the College of Medicine here, hoping to become a doctor one day. I make it. That's all I'm doing.
I'm Matt Brown. I grew up in Richmond, Vermont, about 20 minutes away. Graduated in 2009. And I was an anthropology major with a triple minor in biology, music, and theater. So I had a little bit of trouble deciding what I wanted to do. I came in as a biology major and switched around quite a bit and came out with that. I ended up in anthropology with an emphasis on both music anthropology and media anthropology. When it came time to do my thesis, I'd had a interest both in media, in social media, and also in radio. I'd been working for the UVM radio station as a DJ for a few semesters. So I combined those and did a thesis on the anthropology of podcasting. And that was really interesting. It was a fantastic experience. After I graduated, I actually moved to Milwaukee with my girlfriend Stephanie, and she got a job out there, so she'll tell you about that, and I sort of came along for the ride. So I went out to Milwaukee and started job searching out there, which was definitely tough. I was primarily looking in media fields and in theater, and it was a really hard market out there. I ended up getting a service job for the first year, which was not exactly what I wanted to be doing, but the hours there afforded me the opportunity to spend my time not at work looking for other positions that would both further my experience and my resume and be towards what I'm passionate in. So I was able to spend my evenings. I got a marketing internship for a local nonprofit organization where I was managing their media profiles, their website, their communications, and I also got a job, a volunteer position, directing a play for a local community theater group. So those were two fantastic things that I was able to do in my first year. So even though I didn't have the luck that I wanted in finding the job I wanted in my first year, I think I found a good balance of paying my bills, but also furthering my resume and doing what I was passionate in. And the marketing internship actually led me to what I'm doing now. It was a great networking opportunity, and it got me into a position where I'm currently in. The organization is called Public Allies, and it's an AmeriCorps affiliated program where I am placed with a private foundation in Milwaukee, and I'm currently designing a social media platform for them so that they can send that out to the nonprofits that they work with so that they can better interact with each other, communicate, collaborate, share resources, and work more efficiently. So I just started that position about a month ago, and it's been going fantastic.
So I'm Stephanie Fakhrizadeh. I'm from New Jersey originally, and I graduated from UVM in 2009. I was an environmental studies major with a minor in English. And during my time at UVM, I was very involved with working for the UVM orientation program. So I had a 2-year position helping to run orientation programs at UVM. And so because of that position, it didn't quite work out for me to go abroad. And so when I got to my senior year and I was done working for orientation, I was sort of trying to figure out a way to get an alternative experience. I had enough credits to graduate while taking some time off. So what I decided to do was combine my thesis experience with a travel experience, and my focus in environmental studies had been environmental justice, so I was very interested in social justice and the inequitable distribution of environmental hazards such as toxic waste sites and landfills and things like that. So I became very interested in some of the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina, and so I decided that for the fall of my senior year, I would go down to New Orleans and spend 2.5 months there doing an internship with a school gardening program called the Edible Schoolyard New Orleans. And so I worked with them, and I did some interviews and some field work studying how their program, which was a school gardening program, what kind of impact it had on the kids living in a post-disaster school system. So I really enjoyed that experience. It was a wonderful way to see a different place and to sort of get involved in 2 of my interests, which were education, 3 of my interests, education, social justice, and the environment. And so I really enjoyed that, and through that experience sort of realized that I wanted to be working in education. So when I got back to UVM, I wrote up my thesis, I graduated in the spring, and I applied to a program called Teach for America. And so I was accepted to Teach for America, and it's a program that basically what they do is they place recent graduates in both urban and rural school districts that are being underserved, and they give you training and take you through an alternative certification process to get your education certification while you are working in a school that has high needs. So I moved to Milwaukee, and I got a position there teaching 3rd grade. This year I'm teaching 5th grade at a different school because of some district-wide layoffs that have been a problem across the country. And I'm also getting my master's in education at Marquette at the same time, all through the Teach for America program. So I could be happier, but but I have really enjoyed it. It's been a tough experience, but it's been a lot of learning, a really big learning experience, and a really great life experience, and I'm really enjoying it.
Good. So I'm just going to